Over the last year, archaeologists have continued to dig deeper into the legacy of the Sorbs. One of the most shocking discoveries was that, in fact, the Sorbs did not originate in Bari as we once thought, but instead have their roots in the Irpinia Valley, Avellino province. It would seem as though the Sorbs moved their capital to Barium around 1100 BC to be closer to the sea and farther from the Carthaginians. Here we are in the community of Montella Avellino, the modern village founded over the Sorban capital. After the fall of Rome in the 5th century, the buildings of Sorbo were demolished, the stone used for construction projects, mainly cathedrals across Italy and the rest of the Christian world. By the Middle Ages, nobody remembered the Sorban capital here. However, there are several place names which do reflect this village's ancient heritage. Look here at this neighborhood called Sorbo. This is roughly where the old Sorban palace used to be. Look at the streets called Via Sorbo, Vico Sorbo, and Via Monte Sorbo. These street names all reflect Montella's Sorban heritage. By far the greatest testament to the Sorbs here is the surname Sorbo, which is shared by 15% of the village's population. The surname Sorbo has spread the world over, reaching countries as far as Quebec, the United States, and China. One aspect of Sorban culture not touched upon yet was the Sorbs' love of sport, particularly cycling. The Sorbs invented a bicycle, albeit with stone wheels, over 2,000 years before a similar invention was made in the modern era. After the deaths of 8 Sorbs and the impotence of thousands more, cycling was banned in the Sorban Empire. Now how did the Sorbs construct great building works and eat at the same time? The answer is simple, really. Simple machines. Using a system of chain and gear pulleys, the Sorbs achieved mechanical advantages reaching 1,000, possibly 10,000. There is a story in one of the Sorban tablets about a 5-year-old named Raphaelis Minimus, who with one hand lifted a stone weighing approximately 2 tons. Now how do the Sorbs lift such enormous weights? We teleconferenced with Paul Hewitt of conceptual physics fame to help us explain. Even though Paul is not a historian, he is extremely interested in the Sorban Empire. Alright, so the Sorbs used a system with 2 fixed gears, which are really pulleys using chain instead of rope, and 1 moving gear to achieve great mechanical advantages, just like in homework problem number 5. I know what you're thinking. NWH, Mr. Hewitt, no way in heck. Now, the Sorbs would have had 2 gears attached to each other, so that they rotated in unison. So when this outer gear rotates 1/2 a rotation, how much does the inner gear rotate by? Check your neighbor, check your neighbor. It's same gang. The inner gear also rotates 1/2 a rotation. Now, I'll draw the moving gear on my virtual blackboard. That's what's going to support our output force. Now we'll connect the chains. See gang, we have one chain that doesn't support any weight, and the other which does. You pull on the chain which doesn't support any weight. So now Raphaelis Minimus comes in and pulls down on the outer chain, so that the outer gear rotates 1 full revolution. Let's say the outer gear has a diameter of 115 millimeters, and the inner gear has a diameter of 105 millimeters, just like in the homework. So how far does Raphaelis have to pull to make that one revolution, gang? Check your neighbor. I'll just do the calculations for you. Pi times d works out to 361.3 millimeters. Now, gang, how much does the inner gear spin by? Same, one revolution. But how much chain passes through the inner gear? Is it same? Check your neighbor. No, it's not 361.3, instead it's 329.9 millimeters, a whole 31.4 millimeters less than the outer gear. This means that now this outer chain, which doesn't support any weight, is 31.4 millimeters longer than it started. So what happened to the inner chain? Remember, the total length of the entire chain is constant. So the inner chain was shortened by 31.4 millimeters. So now what happened to the weight suspended from the moving pulley? It goes up, right? By how much? Since the chain is 31.4 millimeters shorter, and there are two strings that make up the chain running up to the fixed gear, the pulley is 15.7 millimeters higher. You see that, gang? So now, gang, why don't you guys calculate your IMA, Ideal Mechanical Advantage. There's an easier way of calculating this with this Sorban mechanism. Take the diameter of the outer gear and divide it by the spacing between the two gears. And that's how the Sorbs did it. By making differences between the two gears so slight, they could achieve massive mechanical advantages.